Welcome to the Publish Her podcast, a place where you can come to get inspiration, motivation, help, encouragement, and support in your journey to write, publish, and sell your book. Hosted by Alexa Bigwharf. Berni is a best-selling author under multiple pen names. He blogs for writers and self-publishers at Authors Tech, and he is the co-founder of Book Ads, an agency that helps authors advertise their books through Amazon ads and BookBub ads. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Brian.
Well, thank you for having me, Alexa. It's a great honor.
Well, this is a topic that I just can't wait to dig into because I trained myself in Amazon AMS ads, whatever they called them, about 5 years ago. I set up an ad that I haven't touched since then that has been just producing sales each month, but I'm not really sure that I'm actually making any money because I haven't touched it or done anything with it. And the dashboard has changed so much. Everything has changed so much since I initially learned that I am overwhelmed going in there. So I know people who are brand new to it are probably super freaked out when they open it up and try and get in there. So I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions if you're cool with that.
Oh, yeah, sure, definitely. And I remember those days very well where you would just set up an ad and let it go and it would be profitable. The golden days of Amazon advertising.
Yes, it did okay for a little while, but now I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? I'm not sure that I'm actually making any money anymore. In fact, I think I'm just giving Amazon $150 a month, and and I need to figure out what to do about this. So, well, let's start at the very beginning. I'm going to start busting out into Sound of Music songs there. But when should an author even consider running ads? Because I hear so many people just say, oh, you should run ads, but I don't know that I believe that everybody should be running ads.
Yes, I don't either. Especially, it obviously depends a lot on what your platform is looking like when you want to start the ads. If you're an author who's just started out, you've got one book out and you've just launched it, for example, you can run a little bit of ads, but you're not going to make a huge return on them. It's not going to change your book's life or the launch, not at all. So I encourage writers who are just starting out to look at other types of promotion who are best suited for beginners. And that's not that, Amazon ads are that difficult to learn, but it's just that they don't go well with something that's extremely new. And there is a reason for that, actually. And I mean, a lot of things in Amazon ads are a bit mysterious, a bit like other things with Amazon and the famous algorithms. But one thing we tend to think is pretty clear is that Amazon wants to know whether or not a book is going to sell alone without the ads. So if you start ads, on a book that's brand newly published, Amazon won't really know what to do with it, what people to show it to, and all. It will not be trained to understand what the book's performance is before you start the ads. So again, you can run a few ads, but you won't get as much out of them as you would if the book has been out for a while, if you have other books in a series, and also if your book is ranking fairly well already. And this is a bit counterintuitive, and I need to explain this to a lot of authors who apply to my agency, because they think, if a book is not selling, that's when I do need the ads. But through experience and helping a large number of authors, we've understood that the best bang for your buck is when the book is already ranking fairly well. And this ties up with what I said before, because Amazon knows the book has potential. And so it's going to show it more love in terms of ads than it would if it was just published yesterday, for example.
Oh, that's really interesting. I went through a program on Amazon ads last year, and I set up a book. It all makes a lot more sense now. We set up ads around a book that had just launched, and it was 30 days before it even got a click. Like, it was crazy. I was like, there's I'm trying to spend money and Amazon isn't even spending my money. Nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening?
Yes, and this is fairly common because, like I said, Amazon doesn't know if it can trust your book or not,
Mhm.
because obviously Amazon's first goal is customer satisfaction and experience, and its second goal, which is really at the same level, is making money. So they are going to show more love to books who are proven to convert rather than something that's completely new. And the fact that it doesn't spend money has been very, very common right from the beginning.
Mhm.
We think that that is the precise reason, because it doesn't invest in your book because it doesn't know how it will perform. Some people try to get around this by increasing their daily budgets or starting with a very high daily budget. But that's, it works sometimes. Supposedly this would serve to show that you're a serious advertiser and Amazon would consider your ad more. But we've seen it work sometimes and do nothing other times. So it's not a hard and fast rule by any means.
Well, so to just recap very briefly, then Amazon ads are not the tool to use to revive a book. It's the tool to use to boost a book that's already performing.
Yes, in our opinion, it is.
Mhm.
Yes, there are some different schools of thought, but we've worked with a lot of authors, and this is pretty much what we've seen.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So then at that point in time, so if somebody's a first-time author, they've got their book out there, it's been out for a couple of months, they've got reviews, 45, 50 reviews, they're doing well, but the book just isn't selling. What other than running those ads, what are your suggestions then?
My suggestions are usually to try in every possible way to get that ranking into a better position. And that is usually done through promo sites, through
Mhm.
discounting, especially maybe if you're in Kindle Unlimited through a Kindle Countdown deal. Getting it to a point where it's selling. And I don't mean, hundreds of copies a day. I mean, even one copy a day and to the next day, one again. I mean, selling consistently. And I can't give you a specific number in terms of the bestseller rank as well, because it's not always the same. But we tend to think that around 30,000 is is pretty good. But another thing I want to point out is that with these platforms, with these PPC platforms, you never know what is going to work until you actually start doing it, and until you actually test things in real life. Because again, this is not to sound like I'm a super expert, but I've worked with a lot of authors, and sometimes I've been very wrong about a book which I thought is not going to perform well, but then it did, and the opposite was always true. Was true at sometimes as well. So, but going back to your question, definitely, I recommend raising the ranking or lowering, making the ranking better in other ways. And then at that point, starting with the Amazon ads. And there are specific types of campaigns that I do recommend at that point as well.
We'll get into that in a second,
Sure.
talking about the campaigns, but I wanted to ask you this question. Since you are also a BookBub ads expert, BookBub ads, I have never dipped my toes in at all. I'm terrified by BookBub. It's such a big thing. Now, is that something that a newer author can use? I see that they're doing the pre-order promos and things like that. Or again, are those more like back in the day, you knew you probably weren't going to get a BookBub unless your book was already selling and you had a bunch of reviews and things like that. Has that changed at all with their paid tools?
Well, definitely. I mean, if you want to apply to start BookBub ads, you can do so, and you can start immediately. There's no application process to go through. You cannot be rejected. So anyone can do that, pretty much immediately. There is a bit of, I tend to rank the three main platforms, BookBub, Facebook, and Amazon, in different scales, whereas, for example, Facebook is the most complicated. And I mean granular. I mean, your targeting can be so granular on Facebook. And it's also the platform that will probably be harder to master, because it's so granular and so, I would say, complicated, but also because people on Facebook are not necessarily looking for books.
Right.
And when you're advertising on Facebook, you are doing what is called interruption marketing. So they are scrolling and you are suggesting they buy a book, and sometimes that's not what they wanted to do.
Right.
In the middle is Amazon, because it is a little bit easier in terms of creating the ads, but it has a big advantage, and that is because that people are on a book page or are actively searching for a book to buy or to download. And so, you find the reader at the time when you really want them to buy your book. They are already primed to make the purchase. BookBub is the maximum when it comes to reader engagement, because you are showing your book into an email to a reader who has manually selected the genres that they are interested in. So that is the maximum targetedness that you can get.
Right.
And it's also quite easy to learn, because it's a fairly new platform. And as Amazon ads were a few years ago, it's still very bare bones, and you can learn it very, very quickly. Now, getting it to perform well is another thing, but actually learning and trying your first ads is pretty easy.
Well, that's good to know. I had spoken with somebody else who said that she found that her ads perform a whole lot better with series than they do with individual books, and especially one-time authors,
Yes.
Which we often work with first-time authors. So that's why we haven't really spent too much time exploring that. But I will look more into it. I'm curious about this question, though. I know we're not here to talk about Facebook ads. Do you all do Facebook ads as well, or just the Amazon and BookBub?
We offer it as a service, but we outsource it.
Okay.
In-house, we do Amazon and BookBub.
I'm curious about what the changes that Facebook ads have just made, where you have to own the URL to wherever you're sending the person. And my Facebook ads person hasn't figured out that one yet. So we're looking for information. In the meantime, we've just paused all of our ads directly to Amazon through Facebook ads, and are looking at email list growth and other types of ads. But that's the crazy thing about all these tools, is that they can change instantly. And like I said, with Amazon ads, the back end is, I mean, it's not that different, but it feels really different to me for some reason. It feels like I just have no idea what I'm doing, which is why I'm looking to hire someone to know what they're doing. But with the campaigns, you said we could talk about the different type of campaigns.
Sure.
Can you just kind of explain what options are out there for people to use?
Yeah, the different types of campaigns. There are different types of campaigns because the targeting that you can have in each one of them is different. And also the way Amazon delivers these campaigns is a little bit different. So there are, I think, around 10 types of different campaigns. But you will see that you will only be using a few once you've done a few tests, because simply some campaigns work better for some authors and others work better for other authors. But going back to your question, a very, very important type of campaign is an automatic keywords campaign. And that is also the easiest to set up. You just tell Amazon what your daily budget is and what your bid is, because you have to bid on keywords. And Amazon is going to show your ad, your book, to the people and in the places where it thinks it's going to be most relevant. And this is very, very good, because Amazon obviously has millions and millions of points of data about browser behavior and reader behavior and customer behavior. So if you give them a book and you start an automatic campaign, you can be pretty sure that Amazon will put it in the right places. Now this, though, there is a caveat to this, and this goes back to one of your first questions. If the book has just been uploaded to Amazon, then Amazon doesn't have enough data and won't really know what to do with that book. It will base its judgment upon reviews or upon all supports, but if those are not, in the shape in which they should be, then you might find that your book shows up in places that are not relevant. So what we recommend is do not do automatic ads unless the book has been out for a while and Amazon has that data that they can work with. I'm going to go back to automatic ads in just a bit. Another type of ads that you can use are the most common ones, the sponsored keyword campaigns, also known as sponsored product campaigns. Basically, what you do here is you target through keywords, and these keywords can be names of authors that are in your genre, books that are similar to yours, keywords, descriptive keywords like 18th century England romance or something like that. And these are the most profitable, the best types of campaigns, but also the ones that require longer to tweak and to test, because with a big pool of keywords, you will see that often some of them don't even perform, don't get impressions. So you need a very precise fine-tuning work once you've had the campaigns going for a while to get the keywords that you want to rank for to perform as you want them to. So automatic keyword ads. Then there's a category targeting ads, and these are a little bit less expensive when it comes to bids than the other campaigns, other types of campaigns. And this is mainly because when you target a category, even though you might be writing in a very specific subcategory, it is still wide. So your ad has the chance to be shown to a lot of people. So it's cheaper because not a lot of people probably are bidding in that specific category. Another type, which is the complete opposite, in my opinion, to category targeting, is very, very laser focused targeting on specific books. And you can actually target the ASIN of a specific book. And on the other hand, you can also target you can target the ASIN specifically, meaning that you take the ASIN of a book that you think is going to be similar to yours, you put it in as a keyword, and then you work from there, because you will need to optimize at that point as well. Now, these types of campaigns are more expensive because, as you can imagine, the more targeted you are, the more the bid is going to cost. Because if I were to write a book like the Da Vinci Code and I want to be shown on the Da Vinci Code book page, you can imagine the competition for that specific page. So those are more targeted, but also more expensive. Now, what happens is that once you have a few of these campaigns running, Amazon basically changed the game a couple of years ago by giving us search terms as a report. So once the campaign has been running for a while, Amazon now tells us what terms were used to show your ad on Amazon. So, for example, if I type in books like the Da Vinci Code and my ad shows up for this term, then Amazon is going to tell me, yes, I've shown your ad for someone who typed in books like the Da Vinci Code. Now, this is pretty much a game changer because we didn't used to know this, and especially for automatic targeting campaigns. In the past, we would just set a daily bid, a budget, sorry, and the bid, and that would be it. We just let the ad run and hope for the best. Now we kind of see behind the curtain, and we kind of understand how Amazon, the thought process behind the algorithm and why it has shown our book in these specific places. Now, if these places, meaning the search terms, are relevant, what we do then, which is the second phase of optimization, is we take those terms and we turn them into keywords. And then we are pretty sure that those terms are going to be profitable because, people have actually used those terms to look for our book.
Well, that's super useful. That's way better than, I always wondered why when you have your big list of keywords, like some of them never got any impressions at
Yes.
all, and all of that. So it's a lot of work. So basically, if you're going to be running Amazon ads, you need to be in there daily, weekly. How often do you have to go in to see what's happening?
It's a bit, so for example, if I started a few campaigns today, I would probably not look at them for a week at least, because there's a very, very big latency when it comes to the data showing up in the dashboard. And if I make changes 3 days after I've started a campaign, I may then regret it because the data has caught up and it has proven wrong what I did. So I would leave it for about 7 days, 7 to even 10 days. Of course, I would go in and just have a look at nothing's going wrong, or I haven't made a mistake or anything like that. After that, I would start my optimization, and I would be in there quite regularly, meaning almost every day, because what I'm trying to do is it's a bit like a funnel. So I'm trying to cast a wide net at the beginning, and then trying to make things as relevant as possible. And that is done through optimizing the bid, increasing, decreasing, optimizing where you want the ad to be shown, for example, at the top of the page, at the bottom, all these little things. And it's like I said, it's a very precise work that you need to do to get them really performing well. In the past, and I am completely guilty of this, it used to be spaghetti at the wall. So you just throw in, I don't know, 50 ads with 1,000 keywords each, and they would just, they were bound to work for some terms. But Amazon has changed, and the algorithm has changed, and the name of the game now is relevancy. So that is what you really need to aim for. Also, because when your keywords or your targeting is relevant, you pay less for clicks, and the ad is obviously performing better.
And did I read or hear someplace recently that they're actually reducing the number of keywords that you're allowed to throw in there, so it's no longer uploading 1,000 random keywords?
Yeah, it's not there yet, but it is coming soon, in our opinion. And also, they will probably get rid of the ad copy that you can put. The standard structure of an Amazon ad is a picture of your cover, the reviews with the stars, the price, and in some cases you can add 150 characters or short kind of sales copy, like if you like Dan Brown, then you love my book, sort of thing. It used to be that all campaigns needed that in the past. They've started campaigns that you can have without the ad copy now, but for everyone is basically saying that the ones without the copy work better. So we are thinking that Amazon is probably going to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And it's strange, actually, because you would think that is like the tagline that brings people into your book. But evidently people, they either judge a book by its cover,
right?
Or they have enough elements to click on the ads when it comes to the reviews and the price and the cover.
So I'm glad you said that, judging a book by its cover, because I want to ask what feels like an obvious question to me, but I would just like you to reaffirm this here. So, how important is your cover and your description when you're trying to have good converting ads?
They are fundamental.
Mhm.
And again, another one of my sins is that in the past I would try to help everyone with their ads, but I soon discovered that even though I was doing the things that worked for other books,
Mhm.
for these books they were simply not working, even in the same genre or same
Yeah.
niche or category. Um, and so we understood that there are some books that need to have the fundamentals right before you start advertising them, because otherwise you're going to lose money. Cover, first of all, blurb has to be, the best it can be, and obviously reviews and pricing. Now, there is actually a way of using Amazon ads as a way to test these things. It's not the best way. I think probably Facebook is better for this, but there is a way on Amazon as well, and that is starting to run some ads and then looking at the data. So if you are getting enough impressions, which is achieved by bidding high enough, and you are getting not enough clicks, then you understand that people have seen your ad and they are not clicking on it. So there's something that they don't like. So you can sort of work backwards and think, my price is normal, my reviews are great, might be my cover.
Mhm.
And then another way of doing this is if you are getting impressions, you're getting clicks, but you're not getting sales. And this is another problem, because when people are seeing the ad, they're clicking on it, they are getting to your books page, but for some reason they are not buying it. So it might be your pricing again, very
Mhm.
unlikely because they've seen that before. It might well be your blurb. There's something in there that people don't like. So it is a way. There is a way of testing these things through Amazon ads, but I would definitely invest in having them done better. Before you even start the ads, rather than using the ads to make them better.
Yeah, I think that's something that authors really struggle with, is getting that just right blurb out there that's
Yeah,
hooking, that has enough of a hook, that has enough details and not too many details, that has just the right amount of keywords and all of those things. That's a very challenging part of the process. And then the cover, I mean, oh my goodness. I just I don't know how to lovingly tell people, stop
yeah,
making your own covers. You're not fooling anybody. Everybody can tell a cover that's been designed by someone who doesn't know how to design a cover. And it immediately, to me, I say this with as much love as I can to anyone listening to this who has made their own cover. To me, it automatically decreases my desire to want to buy the book, because I think if the cover was self-designed and not designed well, does that mean there's going to be a lot of problems within the book as well?
yes, definitely. And also, I mean, I have to tell people these things every day,
Mhm.
and I don't like to do it, but I have to.
Yeah.
Um, it's even worse when someone says, "Oh, but it was done by a graphic designer,"
Oh
and
gosh,
then the
yes.
graphic designer may specialize in mugs. I mean,
Right.
it's you have to have someone who is a professional at this, especially because it was what separated indies from traditionally
Yes.
published authors, and now we are at a point where you shouldn't be able to tell whether something is indie or traditionally published. So
Agreed.
it's not as it used to be anymore.
No,
And
and yeah, just a plug for all of those professional indie cover designers, freelancers. There's some amazing ones out there who don't charge. I mean, to get a good cover that will sell your book, to pay $350 is not a big investment, $500, but you can even find it for less than that. So don't be afraid to look and to ask and to find. There's great cover designers out there who are charging really reasonable rates.
yeah.
um okay, that's just my little soapbox there, because it hurts to see these what could potentially be really good books never even have an opportunity to make it past the front door.
Yeah. definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the different types of campaigns then, and when you are looking for keywords and trying to make sure that you're optimizing your campaigns the best way, I like to use Publisher Rocket to help find keywords. Do you have any other suggestions for tools that can help as well?
Yeah, so Publisher Rocket is definitely a good tool, even though I wouldn't simply download the terms and copy paste them into the
Right.
ads, because you need to remember that Publisher Rocket is still not human.
Right.
So there are some terms in there that might throw off your targeting, and as important as targeting is, it only costs you like 10 minutes to go through the list, and I would, go through the list and make sure that everything is relevant. So definitely Publisher Rocket. There are ways to sort of scrape, that's not a nice word, but pull the names of the books and authors from the 100 best-selling titles in your category, or you can do that manually. So I mean, it takes a while, but it can be done. But again, there are tools, Chrome extensions especially. There are tools to grab the async from a specific book and do it in at scale, so that you can use them in those async campaigns that I mentioned before. But apart from that, we as an agency, what we do is we ask the author in the first place, because there's nobody who knows the book better than the author. And unfortunately, as much as I would like to, I cannot read each and every book. So we ask for a initial kind of seed keyword, keywords rather, books, authors, and descriptive keywords, and then we kind of expand from there. It used to be, like I said, that we would just go in and go crazy with the thousands upon thousands of keywords. We now tend to start small, and then if it's not working, if nothing is working for those keywords, then we tend to expand a bit. But we first try to make those work as much as possible, because we know that they, again, are the most relevant keywords for your specific book. And this sometimes means that you need to pay more, that you need to bid higher, especially in those async ads that I mentioned before. And that is another reason why authors who have just published a book might not be a very good fit for advertising. And it's because if you have a series that is 6 or 7 books long, and you know that a reader for you, rather than the price of the first book, is really worth $7 or $8 for you in royalties, then you are confident to be bidding higher, because you make so much back from a single potential reader.
Right, from the read through. That makes sense. Well, I'm glad you said that about using smaller keywords, because I would tell you, one of the things that did intimidate me from going back in was the fact that there were so many. Like, I didn't want to have to figure out 500 keywords for, so that's very good to know. Now, if somebody's been running an ad for a while, I mean, like mine, and hasn't been touched for a while, it's still producing sales, but it's probably not performing as optimally as it could. Do you have any advice on the next steps? I mean, do you need to scrap the ad and start from fresh? Can you just revamp the keywords?
Yeah, I would do a few things. I would never, ever terminate completely an ad, and that is called archiving an ad on Amazon.
Don't archive ads, never.
Never, because once they are archived, you cannot turn them back on. And if for any reason you need to turn it back on, you can't do it. And also because if an ad has been running for such a long time, you can imagine the amount of data it has gathered. And even if you terminate that ad and you copy it, you literally copy, there is a button to copy the campaign. Amazon has specifically said that it will need to redo everything. It will start with a blank slate. So you are canceling months or years of data. So I would probably, if it's not working that well, I would probably pause it to start with. And then I would make some tweaks. I mean, I would look at the keyword level if there's terms that are spending but have never produced even a sale, only producing clicks but no sales, only producing impressions but no clicks. You know, I would do that kind of granular optimization. And also, if I'm not sure that the ad is actually doing anything, I would try and have it run for 2 or 3 weeks alone, just that as a means of promoting your book, and then I would turn it off. Pause it, not turn it off completely.
Right. Okay.
So for the month when it's running and it's basically the only promotion means you have, you will have a basis of sales that your book is producing. When you turn it off, if the sales remain the same, you know the ad is practically useless. But if you turn it off, then you will know that it's at least doing something. And that might mean that it's producing some organic sales. It might mean that it's producing some page reads. It's not all, you know, the dashboard, the Amazon dashboard doesn't tell the full story.
Right.
A lot of people say it's completely inaccurate. And they say, you know, just look at your ad spend, look at your KDP royalties, do the math, and that's if the ad is profitable. But it's not entirely true, in my opinion, because ads often lead to other things other than sales and pure royalties. And that is organic sales, because if you're pushing a book, it might show up where someone is browsing and they might put it in the wish list, and then they might go back to it 20 days later and it's not accounted for in the data. So that's to say that the dashboard is not the last word. They have recently introduced page reads as a metric. They tell you how many page reads a campaign has generated.
Interesting.
And yes, and that is actually very, very extremely useful for people in Kindle Unlimited. But again, with these things, especially the page reads, you might be pausing an ad and the person might start reading your book after a month, and your page reads, you'll start coming back to your ad and you will see the page reads going up and up. And in the meantime, the ad has been paused. So I would really think, twice, 3 times, 4 times before pausing an ad. If it is spending money and it's absolutely a loser, then of course, pause it, don't terminate it. But otherwise, if you think that there might be something, it's definitely worth investigating.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so after listening to this, I'm sure everyone is just dying to know how to get your help. So how are the ways that you work with authors?
Yes, I co-founded an agency back in 2015, and we offer quite a few things, but in terms of BookBub and Amazon ads, we do consulting, we do dashboard audits, what we call dashboard audits. So I go in and I have a look, I record a screen share of myself explaining what I would perfect in a particular dashboard. Or we do what is our most popular service, which is the done for you. Set it and forget it.
Yeah.
But you set it and forget it. We don't forget it.
Right.
So you basically tell us what book or books you want to advertise, and then we have a few exchange of emails, because we need to understand what better, and we don't want you to spend money if we don't think it's going to work. And then all you do is basically communicate with us on what is happening on your end, and we offer reports, and all the rest we take care of. We do the keyword research, we do the tweaking, we do the creating new campaigns, and all of it basically.
That sounds amazing.
For the BookBub ads, we also do the graphics, because with BookBub
Nice.
you can use custom graphics, and so we do that as well.
Okay, great. And how do people get in touch with you to find either of those services?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, which is bookads.co, and you will see buttons there that will point you to a brief form to fill in, and you can get in touch with us through that. And when you submit the form, we will get back to you as soon as possible, and then we'll probably hop on a call and discuss your goals and what you want to get out of this, and then that's it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This has been a lot of information. I still don't feel that much calmer about what's happening on my Amazon ad. So I'll probably be heading on over to your website and booking a call officially.
Yeah.
But
But
thank
I
you.
just wanted to let your listeners know that they can email me at brian@bookads.co, and whatever questions you want to ask me, I feel free to do so. I'm happy to help.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This has been great information. I appreciate you letting me just pick your brain selfishly on all the things I wanted to know. So to the benefit of our audience, right?
Thanks, Alexa.
All right. Stay healthy.
Thanks, and you.